Welcome to Los Angeles Data Platform User Group. This session will be recorded and shared on YouTube and Rumble, and so I run it by the speakers. Good time of day, everyone, wherever you are. By the way, please feel free to drop your city and name into the chat so we know which communities we're serving. Again, welcome to Los Angeles Data Platform User Group. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Steve, and I'll be moderator of this virtual meeting. I'll be joined, hopefully, by Yelena. If you're new to our user group, this is the way to find our meetings, either Eventbrite or Meetup. You can also send us an email. All the hyperlinks on this slide are clickable. If you're attending us for the first time again, or you try to follow us on social media, here's all the links. You can follow us on different digital parts of the world. You can also join our mailing list. We have weekly newsletters with stuff to read, also reminding you on upcoming meetings, updating you on the recorded video that we have on YouTube or Rumble. You can either scan the QR code or, again, click on a hyperlink. And this event is sponsored by Microsoft, TN3, and Data-Driven Technologies. Most people know Microsoft. TN3 is a company that provides virtualized storage, and Data-Driven Technologies is the nonprofit that finances this user group as well as SQL Server in Los Angeles. And during this presentation, please feel free to drop questions in the chat, and I'll voice them out. And without further ado, let's move to the rock star of today's online meeting. Sam, please take it away and introduce yourself. And wait a second, before that, just to make sure, we have two speakers today. So Sam is first, and James is going to be after 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, in an hour or so. Again, Sam, please take it away and introduce yourself.
Very good. Thank you so much, Steve, for the opportunity to be present today and be meeting the group for the first time and talking about Azure Arc. My name is Sam Mesel, and I've been working with SQL Server since the very first phase of SQL with Microsoft. So when Microsoft was partnering with Sybase in the early 90s, the company I was working for was one of the first 5 companies in Brazil to get a SQL Server box, and I deployed, installed, I prepared training for the developers, etc. So I've been working with SQL since that time. In 2012, I joined Microsoft as a Premier Field Engineer, and I stayed in the field supporting customers, mostly focused in performance, SQL performance, for about 10 years. I would say, so from 2012 until 2022, my focus was serving customers with performance. But in 2017, Sam? Yes?
If I may, can you take the screen share and share your contacts?
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought I had the share. So.
Not a problem. I stole it from you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
So I joined Microsoft in 2012. My original focus was SQL Server. And then about 2017, 2018, I started to work with Azure SQL DB, Azure SQL Manager Instance, Postgres, Databricks, Data Factory, Python, and other technologies. And one of the technologies that I started to work was the hybrid, the Arc. So what I'm going to be showing to you today, I'm going to be focusing more on the demos and how you can benefit by deploying or enabling Arc in your servers. And at the end of my session, I'll show, or I'll share with you where you can find resources to deploy those on your own environment. So here you have my contact. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can ping me from there. You can send me messages. I'll reply there. And if you need my email, I'll share my email as well. So our vision when we speak about Azure Arc is that for us in the SQL Server space, we want to Microsoft or us want to provide to you a single pane of glass, one place where you can go and connect to all your SQL Server farm, no matter if they are on premises, if you have an Azure VM, or if you have a VM on AWS, GCP, or any other cloud provider. We can connect to those instances, and you can manage and can govern, you can get reports and assessments. I'll be showing some of the features today that you can benefit for your company. Yes, I'm not going to be paying attention to the chat. It's very complicated for me to look here and there. So yeah, one comment that I'm seeing from Douglas, yeah, Somas was a director at the time in the early 90s. That's correct. So with that said, so let me go, and I'll be transitioning from slides and my own environment. So the idea of Arc-enabled SQL Server is that we want to allow you to have tools where you can manage all the instances. You can govern by using tools that we have, and you can also secure that environment. My focus today is going to be on all the benefits, all the features that are available for you for free. You can, once you deploy, you can start using those features that I'll be showing today, and you have zero cost. So the very first feature that I want to discuss with you is the inventory control. So because we connect each of your SQL Server instances into Azure, into Arc, we read the metadata of those instances, and I'll be showing shortly to you the metadata we collect. But the server, the type of, the edition of your SQL Server instance, the version of the SQL Server, if it's a developer, enterprise, standard edition. So we collect all those metadata, and this metadata is available for us to crunch and create reports and inventory in the dashboard. So what you're seeing here on the bottom of the screen is a picture or a screenshot of a dashboard. So let me transition to my portal. So over here, you can see I'm connected into the Azure portal, okay? And you see the list of my recent resources. So if you're not familiar with Azure, let me just do a quick navigation. And I can go to specific tabs or features of Azure. So over here, I can see the resource groups that I have created for my whole environment. Or I can go back and I can go, for instance, let's say if I go to one resource group, level up, and you understand the name shortly. On this resource level up, these are all the resources I have available or have created there. Okay, so these are VMs that I have on Azure that contain SQL Server instances. So when I'm talking about Arc, I'm gonna go on this icon here. And Arc allows us to see all the machines. So this is showing to me all the Windows and Linux servers that I have on my machine. You can see here different resource groups, if they have connected agents or not, if I have to rework or update those agents. My instances, just for curiosity, my instances stay turned off all the time. so I don't incur in cost. But in your case, you'll be having machines, physical boxes or VMs that are up and running, your production server, your development server, your QA machine, and you can have them, they'll be here as connected. I can click on any of these machines, and then I can see the properties of those machines. So you can see here that's a Windows box with the name JSLU Windows SQL 01. That's the OS on that machine. If it's on the cloud, it's on-prem. So this machine is running. I'm simulating that this machine is on-prem. And I go back here to Arc. I can see other machines. So I have a total of these machines here. And I can also go to the panel where I can filter and see only my SQL Server instances. So these instances are up and running. And you have here repeated names because I created several times the level up. So each level up, you can see the name SQL level up number 2, and SQL level up number 3. So I have a total of 3 resource groups with about 12 SQL Server instances. Okay, so let me go to one of the instances. Let me go to my instance number 5. And on this instance, you can see that it's running on a SQL Server 2019 Enterprise Edition on a Windows server. And the last time this instance was uploaded to my data, the metadata of this machine was uploaded, was 12/21/23 at 2 a.m. So because the machine you use UTC timestamp, so the machine is 5 hours ahead of me. It's now 10:12 in Florida, which is 3 a.m. in UTC time zone. So it was updated a few minutes ago, like 30 minutes ago. Okay, so this is the metadata that I'm capturing from this machine. And at the same time, once that agent is installed on that VM, I can see here the database that I have on that VM. So you can see that I love that AdventureWorks for my demos. So I have many of those AdventureWorks. And when I click on the AdventureWorks database, this is the metadata that's available or Arc is collecting, where we can play with the inventory. So the status of the database, the location of the database, the name of the instance, what else? When it was created, the size of the database, how much space I have available, and other things like compatibility level, if the recovery model is full, if I have a last backup, when it was done, the backup of the data, the log, and you can see here everything that's considered as a metadata. So with that said, get a combination of all your servers, all the database you have. If we go back one click here to the screen, let me see what's available as the inventory. So this is one example of one inventory. These dashboards are created by somebody that knows how to design and how to query the metadata. And you can see here, it's showing to me the summary. I have 11 servers, a total of 61 databases. Have everything is on Windows Server. So all my machines are on the Windows Server. Over here, we have a distribution of the compatibility level of each database, a summary of those, the version of the SQL Server. And here we start having the number of database per server, the editions, the number of cores I have, if I have the Defender, the security enabled or not enabled for the servers, how many of those databases are encrypted, recovery model. So these charts and these pieces of information, They are all coming from the same repository that I mentioned to you, the metadata that we collect. So one thing that we can do here, I can click on this tile, and the tile shows to us the expanded view of the data, but at the same time, it shows us the query that's reading that information. So I'm reading from a table called resources, and I'm filtering by the type is a SQL Server instance, and I'm summarizing the count by version. So this language is called KQL, Custom Query Language, and very similar for those of you that know how to write a T-SQL. It's very simple transition from T-SQL to KQL, and you can write these queries and add them into the tiles here to customize your dashboarding. And many people create dashboards. So this was a dashboard created by one of my peers. This is another dashboard that you can see that I'm filtering everything for one of my resource groups. Okay. And again, every one of them, if you click, you see that you have the KQL to provide that information. So going back to the slide. So that's the feature number one I wanted to show. And you can also play with the resource on the metadata. You can add tags, and you can identify where that VM is located, meaning is on-prem, data center 1, data center 2, AWS, Azure, and you can have those information so you can summarize by them or filter by them. Another very, very cool feature, and I want to emphasize that I was in the field for about 10 years. One of the activities that I used to deliver the most was called SQL Performance Tuning and Optimization, which is an offering that an engineer from Microsoft goes on site and collects information from a server and produces report showing or comparing that setup with the best practice. We also collect telemetry, or I used to collect telemetry to identify possible bottlenecks on that particular instance. But the biggest part of that engagement was the analysis or comparison with that settings of the server with the best practice. And this is a paid service. And what the Arc team has created was providing customers that have the Arc-enabled SQL servers with the benefit of running the best practice assessment and comparing the settings of every single instance with the best practice. So there are 400 more or 400 plus best practice rules, and you can automate that process to collect, let's say, every Sunday night. So when you get from the weekend back to the work on Monday morning, you can have the updated report showing to you what issues that machine has. And if you work on that machine during the week, you can change the settings. So when you come on the following week, you can see the new report executed and you can compare with the previous one. So let me do a quick demo on the best practice assessment. So I have this tab here. Let me close the inventory. I have this tab. So you can see that's my instance SQL number 5. I can navigate to the portal to see, yeah, this is a SQL 2019 Enterprise Edition. Okay, and this data was uploaded 30, 40 minutes ago. And I will go here to the best practice assessment. So on the left panel, on the menu, I click on the best practice assessment, and you can see that you can configure the best practice assessment to run once a week or once a month. You can define the day of the week or the day of the month, the time of the execution of that. And the data that's captured from this best practice assessment, it gets uploaded to your log analytics. So part of the deployment of Arc, you're going to create log analytics. Every single execution of the best practice assessment takes about 3.5 megs of space or storage in your log analytics, and you get 5 gigs per month free. So if you have, let's say, 200, 300 servers in your SQL Server in your environment, you can run this assessment once a week, and you're not going to get above the 5 gigs. So you're going to be running the services for free. So what I want to show to you is that I have done one assessment on November 22. And the last time I ran this assessment was on November 29. Again, don't get bogged down by the dates. As I mentioned, I don't leave these VMs running all the time. So I'll go to the last one, and you can see the next one will be executed on December 24. Let me go to the second execution. And when this report shows up, you can see that there are a total of 400 best practice rules that were executed on this capture. 367 of those best practice checks were good, so no problems. And the remaining 33, it was classified in 2 of very high impact, 15 as a medium level, 9 as a low, and 7 is not an issue. It's just to inform the DBAs. So let's go there and review those issues. You can see here that the server is complaining that I don't have instant file initialization configured for that instance. And if I'm a novice DBA or have never heard about what's the IFI or instant file initialization, you can see there is a hyperlink. I'll click on the hyperlink, and it shows instant file initialization allows for fast execution of previously mentioned file operations, since it reclaims user space without filling the space with zeros. So what it means is, when you have a data file that you auto-grow the data file, or you expand the data file by using alter database. If we don't have IFI enabled, SQL will ask Windows to fill up the new space with zeros, so we know that's a new space and there is no data there. But if we don't do that, SQL will gain the time because Windows is not executing that zeros, not filling up the zeros. So it helps improving performance. So if I click on the hyperlink open up, and this is the explanation of the database of instant file initialization, what happens for the data in the transaction log, how to enable, steps how to enable, security considerations, performance considerations, and so forth. Okay, so this is the impact of creating, or how it helps your environment if you enable the IFI. So you have here the whole list of issues that is still open that the DBA has to fix or has to address. But what we can see as well, if you remember, this was the second execution of the best practice assessment. So from the first one or the previous one to this one, 34 of those issues that existed before were addressed. And I can see everything that was fixed. So I didn't have a full backup. I created a full backup. I didn't have a max stop configured. I changed that to 4. And many other issues that I had addressed just to show the improvement. And you can see here, out of the 34, 22 are low impact and 12 are medium impact. I didn't fix the IFI. It's very fast, but I didn't take the time to do that. So if I fix anything on the SQL Server via Connect and do my maintenance on the database server or the database, etc., next time that the best practice assessment run this weekend, then I'll see that improvement. And this is very good for the DBAs and the companies, because they can see how we are improving servers over time. Okay, so that's the second free tool that you gain by using deploying Arc. Now, another feature. This became available, I believe was end of November. Is the performance dashboard we call the DB Watcher. So by connecting your instance into Arc, the agent installed on that machine will collect some telemetry and upload to Azure, and you don't need to pay storage for that. You're gonna retain data for only 2 days. Initially, we are just provisioning 2 days of storage per instance. So it means that I can go back in 2 days and see the performance. And you can see, for instance, the DMV is collecting information about how many sessions you have, how was the CPU, the database storage utilization, memory, performance counters, storage, and weights. There are some restrictions or availability for this feature. It's only available for SQL Server that's running on Windows. You can only get that information collected if the edition is standard or enterprise, not developer. And the license type, it can be either pay as you go, which is an offer that you can get with Azure Arc, or if your machine or if your SQL Server license, you have software assurance on that. So when you deploy Arc on a given SQL Server, there is a tab that will provide information about the license that you have on that machine. So you need to pay as you go, which means for this new instance that I'm deploying, you didn't buy the license, but you are paying a monthly fee. You're gonna be cheaper than hosting on Azure, but you don't get all the services in Azure. Okay, so be aware of that. So let me do a visit to the portal. So I'm still using the same machine number 5. And you can see here, I just started up this machine maybe 1 hour before this session. And you can see here my panels show memory utilization, CPU utilization, how much storage and for logs and data I'm using, the rate of access on the log IO, the access on the data IO, how much I'm using in terms of the cache, how many batch requests I'm using. Yeah, you see the numbers are very low because I'm not stressing I don't have any workloads running there. And if there is anything else that you need, you can always go here and add a chart. And you can define, oh, my chart will be about performance counters. And over here you have the list of performance counters that are being collected. So you can say, hey, let me see if I have any attention rates. And this goes to the bottom. Okay. Nobody is issuing any queries there. Of course, there is no attention. So again, this is another feature that's totally free when you deploy the agent on your SQL Server instance. This is another feature that came also the time frame of end of September, beginning of November, is the automated backups and point-in-time restore. So what are those? We go to the tab on the server, and you configure the automated backup. So what these will do, when you configure the backup, you specify the backup retention, and you specify how many times a week you do the full backup, the differential backup, and the log backups. How often you do those 3 types of backups. So when you enable that, SQL Server, you run these backups, and it will use the storage located on that particular instance, on that VM or that physical box. And we collect the information about the execution of the backups. And once the backups are done, you can go to the portal and you can say, oh, for this adventure works, I need to restore. And when it does the restore, it allows us to do a point-in-time restore, meaning if you have a full backup on Sunday and you have a few differentials backup every 12 hours, let's say you do Monday 12 and Monday midnight, and you do Tuesday on 12 and several log backups, and you say, hey, you know what? There is a problem. Somebody dropped a table, and I need to restore the database from Tuesday at 1:05 p.m. That interface allows us to do the point-in-time restore. It doesn't restore on top of the same database. You create a new database. So let me go to that. So I'm connecting to another machine. Now it's my SQL Server 4, and you have several databases. I can click here on restore. And this will say, hey, I want to restore this database as demo user group LA. And you can see here, what's the point in time that you want to restore? Okay, once you do that, you go over the motor here and you create that restore. That VM or that physical box, you get a new database with this name. So I'll put here to work. And we get back here a little bit later. So this feature allows us to use a retention period from 1 to 35 days, and it requires the full recovery model for the database to work on this point-in-time restore. So this is something that's coming up. Is not ready for usage yet, but it's coming up very quickly, is one feature that we are adding into Azure Arc to allow customers that are running Arc and they want to modernize their system. You know, I cannot have my service in my data center, my lease on the data center is expiring, or for any reason they want to move to the cloud. So with this tool, Arc will analyze the workloads on that particular server that we are connecting to. And from there, we will propose to you how you can move the workload. So you can move the workload into an Azure SQL managed instance, or to an Azure SQL VM, or to Azure SQL database. So each one of these types of services have different features and restrictions, but the tool will analyze which one you can fit. So let me go again once more here. And this is my server 4. Okay, so I'm on the server 4, and you can see here the migration assessment preview is this tool here. So assessment is something that's coming soon. It's not ready yet, but you can have a sneak peek on the feature. So when this is ready, what this will do is analyze the workload based on the counters that we are collecting to show your performance dashboard, and some features that you are in use in each database, and we'll collect those and criticize or evaluate what you can move to, what service you can move to. So you see here, to move this instance, the server number 4, I'm ready to move to the SQL MI. So if I want to proceed with this, then I can use the migration service, and here you can find the managed instance link, okay, to get more information about the Azure SQL MI. Most likely, all machines or all instances that you have in your environment, they will be compatible with a machine or a VM in Azure. So this always will be ready. But the difference here is that the portal is suggesting to you the service level that you may go to. So you can see on the Azure SQL MI, you can go to a general purpose instance with 4 vCores with 32 gigs of storage. Or you can go here, if you are going to a VM, you can go to standard DS v4 with 2 vCores and premium storage. Or you can also go to an Azure SQL DB. There are some conditions. If there are some conditions that needed to be addressed before migrating, so this will be lead on, and you can click here. Of course, this is not working, it's just a mock-up screen. But when you click here, this will be navigated to a screen that shows what you need to address on that database to be able to move into an Azure SQL DB. And over here, we have some more telemetry, which is, this is an Express edition, uses SQL 2019, and more data. Or how many CPUs I have, what's my CPU utilization, the memory I'm using, and the disk I'm having on that particular VM. Let me close this guy. And I believe I click on the bell, that restore is still going on, okay? So if I go here to database, I will know, it's here showing demo user group LA is still created, so it's not available yet. And as my last slide, before I open up for comments or questions, if you are interested in learning more about Arc, you can use these resources, AKMS/Arc, or you can get the technical documents on Arc Docs. If you want to learn about the hybrid compute, you go AKMS Learn Hybrid Arc. What I want to show to you is that those environments that I have, I'll go back here to the portal. So you can see that I have 3 resource groups called Arc SQL, Level Up 2, and Level Up 3. So these level ups were created by using this jumpstart. Okay, so you have the link on the slide, Arc Jumpstart. You can see some demos here, or you can get started. So when you go and click on the Get Started, you can see here the scenarios. And there are some scenarios for SQL Server. So you can experiment creating an Azure Arc environment for your company. If you want to go on Microsoft Azure, so this you create a VM on Azure, and then that VM you have nested VMs that have a few SQL Server instances. That's exactly the scenario that I have for this demo, for this session. But this Jumpstart has the scripts for this type of scenario that you have an Azure VM, or if you want to play with VMware, or if you want to have machines on Amazon, Google, JCP, or if you want to have other cases. So let me go here and just show to you if you do the Arc on Microsoft Azure. So this will guide you to create one main VM in Azure, and that VM will host the nested VMs that have the SQL Server. So this will simulate that you have a VM on-prem. And as you click on that link, it shows to you what you have to have in order to complete this deployment. And as you saw, I have 3 deployments. So this has been tested, second test, and third time tested. So it works. Okay, so you have options on how to deploy. You can deploy using templates, or you can deploy using Terraform. Very well explained. And at the end, when this completes, you're gonna have one resource group similar to this. Inside the resource group, you're gonna have all similar resources to those. And then you just go here, click Home, Arc, and you start, and you start navigating on Arc. These other options on the menu here is if you want to start without using those scripts that I showed to you on the Jumpstart. So if you want to enable Arc and you want to add your servers into Arc, you can follow going to Arc. On the overview, click on the Add Your Infrastructure for Free. And you just say here, I'm gonna add SQL servers. and you say, well, the type of SQL Server you want. It's important for you to read a little bit the documentation on the Arc, because there are two modes of connection. Connected mode means that the telemetry is being uploaded, and if you are using pay as you go for new instances, we collect that telemetry and the bill information. If we are using the disconnected mode, you don't upload the telemetry, so we cannot use the perform or performance dashboards. And for the billing purpose, at the end of the month, you just connect once, and the bill information, how many machines you have as a pay go, and etc., that's uploaded, and then you can pay your bill at the end of the month. So once you decide what machine you want to onboard, you click on connect, and this will ask you to provide some details, what resource group you're going to be adding, the region, the OS. So you keep filling up these forms. Of course, it's not going to let me here, but you provide the server details, then you provide the tags, and then at the end, this will create to you. This is a PowerShell script. You copy paste, go to that particular VM, run this PowerShell, and after 5-10 minutes, that VM is plugged, is onboarded into Azure Arc. Very simple. Very simple process. And we have done, so you can automate these PowerShell scripts to remote to other VMs, or you can use as a policy and onboard all the SQL servers in your environment. That makes even faster. And you can have the whole environment set up in probably a day. And next day, you are monitoring, managing your environment very quickly and in one way, very uniform for all the servers. So this bell is still going because I'm still running probably the backup is done. So let me go back here, refresh. Oh no, it's still restoring. Yeah, you can see here, read only. No. Date created is still null, so it's still in progress. And that's what I had for you. So I would like to first of all, thank for having me here tonight. And I want to see if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, let's have a few minutes break and transition for the next session, James. Well, I can go back now to the chat window to see. No, I don't see questions here on the chat window. And I don't know if anybody can unmute. So if you have any questions, please type your question on the chat window. Thanks for the compliment, Douglas. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I keep posting information about Arc or other SQL Server innovations in Azure. I post on LinkedIn, so please connect with me on LinkedIn. All right, so or I did a good job, or I put everybody to sleep. In that case, James, it will be a problem for them to wake up for your session. I hope it's not the latter.
Sam, thank you for your session.
Thank you, Steve.
Do we have
Yeah,
James on the
everybody
line?
knows James. All right, so disconnect, Steve. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak here.
Thank you for a great session.
Thank you.
And I'll circle back with you with the recording video so you can opt in again and make sure that's perfect. And if not, I'll just search it.
Very good. And I'll share with you the slides if you want to post on your website.
Sure. Did you have any slide decks to share?
Yeah, I'll share with you offline.
Awesome. Okay, great.
All right.
Again, thank you for your session.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.